Hello friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Michelle Fondin and I'm the author of Twin Flame Romance, The Journey to Unconditional Love. All of my books are available in paperback, Kindle, and Audible books. If you're new to my channel, welcome. Thank you for subscribing below. Click on that bell, scroll up to all for all notifications, and thank you for giving the video a thumbs up. I do readings, 30, 60, and 90-minute readings, Twin Flame Romance, Life Path and Purpose. You can book that at my website, michellefondinauthor.com. Welcome to Removing Obstacle Thursdays, where we discuss a topic that is always some kind of obstacle in the twin flame journey. And today we are talking about, I was married to somebody else, or still am married to somebody else, when I met my twin flame. Now, this is not my personal story, but this is certainly a story I hear very, very frequently when I do my twin flame readings and coaching sessions. And in fact, I want you to feel more at ease if this is your situation, because I would say that at least 60 to 75% of all of the twin flames that I coach on a regular basis were in this scenario when they met their twin flame. Now, I know this is something that is so heavy on your heart. If this was you, if you were just going about your ordinary business in your marriage, maybe had some kids, you had a good life, you had a house and a car and a dog maybe, and you were in this marriage and you thought things were just okay. And maybe they were fantastic and maybe they weren't so fantastic. But either way, you felt like your life was okay. And then lo and behold, this person showed up and rocked your world. And the one thing that I hear so incredibly frequently is, Michelle, I am not a cheater. I do not cheat. I was very faithful in my marriage. I would never think to cheat in a marriage. I think that's bad. And yet, when I met my twin flame, I could not help myself. I don't know what happened. Something overcame me. Something overtook me. And I feel so incredibly guilty, and I feel a lot of shame around it. And this is a phrase that I hear so incredibly often that I needed to address it. I needed to address it because I hear it all the time. So I want to say that if you are in this situation, it's something that is relatively normal when a person does meet their twin flame divine counterpart. Now, I am not condoning cheating in a marriage or any relationship that is committed for that matter. What I am trying to do is to help you as a twin flame to understand the reasons why this might happen while you're still married, or why this might happen if you weren't looking for anything outside of the marriage. Because more often than not, it happens when you're not looking for anything outside of your marriage. Now, I was married in the past. I let go of that marriage well before I ever met my twin flame divine counterpart. So that certainly is not my situation, and it is not my twin flame situation either. So let's go through this, and I want you really to take this to heart, because I know many of you are still feeling the guilt, shame, self-blame, lack of forgiveness towards yourself. And perhaps you're taking on more emotional baggage from your spouse than you need to be. Now, this can happen also if your twin flame divine counterpart is also married or was also married, And then you as a divine feminine, it usually happens with the divine feminines first, where they tend to take on the baggage. That not only now are they feeling the baggage from the betrayal they felt that they did in their own marriage, but in addition to that, they feel the guilt, shame, and self-blame from their divine counterpart if they are in a marriage. And so what I want to say to you is that it is time to release this burden from you. You make amends, you say your apologies, but that's where it stops. There's no reason for you as a twin flame to put the blame on yourself, to live in shame or guilt. Those are all very, very low vibrational frequencies. And it's time for you to release that from your energy field because it does not serve you. It doesn't serve your twin flame. And it certainly doesn't serve the family that you are in. For example, if you are still raising children from that marriage. So it's time for you to let that go. What I do want to say to you is that everything that happens in your life that moves according to your divine destiny will arrive at the perfect time. What does that mean? That means that if you met your twin flame while you were married to somebody else, it means that that happened in divine timing. So many of you feel the shame and the guilt, and you feel as if you are going to be punished, that you are somehow creating negative karma for yourself because you had an affair while you were still married with your twin flame, or you're continuing to have an affair while you're still married, and the affair is with your twin flame. What I want to say to you is that God makes no mistakes. And so if God brought in your divine counterpart at this specific time, or at the specific time that you met your twin flame divine counterpart, it's that it was time to let go of that marital relationship. It was time for you to awaken to what a sacred connection is. And it was time to stir the pot and mess things up so that you would realize that you can't settle for something less than a sacred connection anymore. In the video that I produced on Tuesday, and I'm going to put the link right here, they're the hidden and obscure, or the obscure and internal twin flame signs. I do mention that when you meet your twin flame, or prior to meeting your twin flame, you notice that your life starts to fall apart. And do view that video to fully grasp what I was explaining. So what I want to say to you is that if God brought in your twin flame divine counterpart at the time that God brought in your twin flame divine counterpart, it's that you were meant to meet your twin flame at that specific time, whether you were married or whether you were not married, that it is divinely orchestrated, it is divinely guided, and that you became awakened to a new way of being in a relationship. And I know that through the negative emotions of guilt, shame, and self-blame, many twin flames will go back to their spouse after having met their twin flame because they feel extremely guilty. They feel like, I should have gratitude. I should appreciate my spouse. I should feel this sense of happiness and fulfillment with my spouse. Why don't I feel that anymore? And they allow themselves to stay in the exact same situation that they were found in when they met their twin flame, out of those negative emotions, not out of love and higher spiritual love, but out of obligation, responsibility, guilt, shame, blame, all of this stuff. And what I want to say to you is that when your energy shifts to a new level and that the marriage that you are in no longer feels fulfilling, it's that it's not meant to be fulfilling. And so what are some signs that you will encounter when this is the case? I've heard twin flames literally say, as soon as I met my twin flame divine counterpart, I couldn't have sex with my husband. I couldn't have sex with my wife. I was repulsed by them. I felt like one day we were fine. And then once I met my twin flame, I could not have sex with them, with the spouse. And the other thing is, they say, I felt like I was cheating on my twin flame with my spouse, which sounds ridiculous, right? When you think about it. And I'm just repeating, I'm not judging, I'm repeating what has been said to me about this. It does sound a little bit crazy when you've been married to someone for 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years. And then all of a sudden, when you have met your twin flame divine counterpart and you're having sex with your spouse, you feel like you're cheating on your twin flame. So that means your energy has shifted to the level of you no longer can settle for a relationship that is not in that highest vibrational frequency. The other thing that will happen is you will feel the itchiness inside of you to leave your marriage. Now, again, this comes with a lot of self-blame and shame, especially if you are in a relationship that has small children, for example, and you might be really upset about upsetting that family dynamic. And I would say to you, everything happens for a reason. Your divine counterpart came in at the right time. God makes no mistakes. So if you're feeling the itch to leave the marriage and move on with your life, it's that you are meant to do that. You are absolutely meant to do that. I'm not a proponent of just breaking up marriages willy-nilly, like absolutely not. And in fact, I was having a conversation with someone just the other day, and I explained how I stayed in a marriage that was not fulfilling to me. And in fact, it was very toxic. I stayed in this codependent, toxic marriage for way too long. And this person said to me, "Why did you stay in that marriage for so long?" And I said, "Because I didn't believe in divorce." I had divorced parents when I was 5 years old, and it was a horrible experience. My parents fought all the time, even after divorce. So I went into marriage thinking you go into a marriage without ever having the option to end that marriage. I did not believe in divorce. So I stayed in a very toxic marital situation way longer than I should have stayed because I had that belief system. I said divorce is wrong. So believe me, coming from the source that really believed for many decades that divorce was wrong, I'm sitting here and telling you that God brings in the right person at the right time with divine timing, and that doesn't mean that you need to stay in a marriage that no longer suits you. And in fact, it's probably best that you don't, because often what I was saying to you is what I have seen in my coaching sessions is that those that do continue to stay in their marriage after having met a twin flame and after having realized that this marriage was not the right fit for them, they're staying out of lower vibrational frequencies. They're staying out of, again, it's my responsibility, it's my obligation, guilt, shame, blame, like it's all of that. And those are not the right reasons to stay in a marital relationship. Nobody in that relationship will be fulfilled. In addition to that, the children will feel that the marriage is wrong. They will feel that the relationship is wrong. Remember, children are highly, highly intuitive beings. We take the intuition out of them through education and upbringing, but smaller children especially are highly, highly intuitive. And so if you are staying in your marriage with your spouse for the children or for the wrong reasons or for those lower vibrational frequencies of those lower negative energies, believe me, the children are picking up on that. They're picking way up on that. I would say to you, let's release the guilt. Let's release the shame. Let's release the self-blame. If you were in a marriage or still are in a marriage when you met your twin flame divine counterpart, it's time to go into that self-exploration mode to determine from your higher spiritual self, is this marriage still right for me? Or is this marriage over and done with? Is it something that does not fit with my new spiritual paradigm and my new sense of self? And if that is the case, if the case is, this doesn't fit with me anymore, it just doesn't, then you know what you need to do to take the steps necessary to get out of that situation. But don't think for a moment that God does not know what's going on. Because a lot of us have a sense of, oh no, I need to hide under the rug because God has no idea of what I did. And I'm so guilty, and the shame that I had an affair when I was still married because I met my twin flame. God knows. God put that person in your life for a reason. So I just want you to put that into perspective, is that you're not going to burn in hell because you had sex with your twin flame. It's just God knew what was going to happen ahead of time. Again, that doesn't mean you make amends with the people around you. You try to go on the up and up and, make amends, say you're sorry, say things are going to change. And if they're going to change, meaning that marriage is ending, it means it's going to change. And if you decide ultimately I need to stay in this marriage because I feel it better, and we're not talking about lower vibrational frequencies, we're talking about I feel that my husband and my wife and I still have some work to do, and I feel like I need to stay in this marriage because it's going to serve my highest good ultimately, it's going to serve this other person's highest good ultimately, then so be it. So it's not about not taking responsibility for the things that you do and the words that you say and your actions. It's about fully taking responsibility, but also not putting yourself into a paradigm that isn't true. So I hope this was helpful today. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for subscribing to my channel below. Click on that bell, scroll it to all for all notifications. And thank you for giving the video a thumbs up. Thank you for sharing this video with other twin flames. And thank you so much for your support of this channel. You can buy a book or 2 or 3. You can join a Twin Flame Divine Feminine Bootcamp #1 or #2. The links are below. Or you can pledge your support on Patreon, www.patreon.com/Michelle S. Fondin. And I will see you in the next video.